Hello again, friends. We're getting ready to cover the latest release by a cherished rock and roll veteran. It's going to be a good time, so please join us here on the Vinyl Brotherhood. Hey, what's up, everyone? Today we're talking about Starflyer 59, which has me super pumped because I love this band. And the brains behind the operation, Jason Martin, has been doing this almost as long as I've been alive, which is pretty impressive. So he started in the early 90s, and the musical atmosphere has changed. Christian rock has become a thing. It's almost more or less ceased to become a thing, and he's been there before it, and apparently he's going to be there long after it, which is good for us because his music freaking rocks and I love all of it. And I highly encourage you to listen through his discography. And even if you don't care for one album, keep on going because he's always changing his sound. Since he started, he's done like shoegaze, rock and roll, pop rock, like an 80s new wave synthy kind of thing. He's delved into more of an indie rock sound, and he just keeps on going, and he's just reliable and consistent, and I can always count on him to put out a great record. And his 16th album, In Search of Vanity, is no exception. I honestly don't even know what the name of this album is. It says In Search of Vanity right here, but elsewhere I have seen just Vanity. And I think we'll just call it Vanity for now. But I'm really looking forward to discussing this with you guys. So we're going to take through the record player and then analyze it and dissect it and whatnot. Alright, Vanity, Starflyer 59. I am loving this album art. It's printed on craft paper and has these debossed details, gold foil, a lot of neat information on here. 16th LP, release date, catalog number, label, track listing. There's a little bit on the back as well. So yeah, very, very neat. So yeah, 16th album by Starflyer 59. This guy clearly knows what he's doing, and that experience shows on every part of this record. This band has never sounded better. Those drums sound great and crisp. The production is on point. The keys are just absolutely beautiful. And over the years, and I think as far as milestones go, or at least the album where I first kind of felt this was back in 2005's My Island. Starflyer kind of developed what I think is a Starflyer 59 sound where they blend. It's like a nice mixture of like 80s alternative and indie pop and like West Coast guitar pop. And it's a nice little mixture of that, and it's become the unmistakable Starflyer 59 sound. And we get a little more of that here on this record, with tracks like Asunder, the opening instrumental, and my favorite song of the album, the single Sunrise. Great song, beautiful, catchy, perfect single. More on like the California guitar pop side. And then on the more 80s post-punk side, we have songs like the first track on the album with lyrics, Life in Bed, where those keys come in and they hit so hard. They pierce right through your soul. Very slow tempo, a little sad even. And if there's anything you should know about Starflyer 59, their songs are pretty much at this point characterized by melody. They're heavy on the melody, they're heavy on the melancholy. And if Life in Bed wasn't enough for you, the next song, Crossroads, even more so. Very slow on the tempo, and it ends with the saddest sounding saxophone that sounds like it's on its deathbed, but every minute of it is gorgeous. And if I do have a nitpick that applies to not just Crossroads, but for other parts on the record, sometimes the writing can feel a little bit predictable once you're halfway through that chorus. You know how it's going to end, and it's such a slow tempo song before that chorus is over, you're ready for the next part. But that's not to say it's poor writing. Maybe it could just, there could have been maybe a little more thought put into it. But on the other hand, on the following track, Yeah Right, one of the more upbeat numbers, you get a guitar riff that sounds pretty familiar, just nice sunny guitar pop, but you can just tell that there's a lot of passion put into it, a lot of I don't know, a lot of that same energy. You can tell that Jason's heart is really here, and the writing, these themes that he's exploring, themes of feeling just kind of like an underdog, dealing with like the weight of the world and family issues and having to like shoulder those burdens. Yeah, they definitely ring true on this record. And so yeah, Starflyer, for the most part, they've been making like the same record for over a decade now, but this is well done rock and roll. It's all very well written, and you can hardly blame the guy. He's been involved in so many side projects over the years, some of my favorites being like Neon Horse, fantastic, and Bon Voyage, which is him and his wife, and more recently Lo and Behold and Low Tom, and they're all doing something different. I can't blame him if he wanted to like focus this musical landscape in particular on Starflyer 59 and sort of cover this ground. So at the end of the day, what we're getting is a very solid, another worthy addition to the colorful and consistent and beautiful Starflyer 59 catalog, and I definitely recommend it. It's a great way to close off that summer season and usher in the fall. And that's more or less all I had on this record. It's good, very solid, but I still have some closing thoughts, so let's take this back to the couch and do that, all right? So there's something of a double-edged sword here at work. Over the years, I have sort of seen Jason Martin kind of settle into a formula, and that's fine because his work is so good and so consistent, and I love the Starflyer 59 sound. But on the downside, I kind of miss how much he explored back in the late 90s and early 2000s, trying out different songs and different sounds rather, and experimenting a little bit. But for what it is, Vanity, or In Search of Vanity, is a really strong record, and the more I listen to it, the more I come to appreciate its themes and the melodies, and I would definitely recommend it. I think I'll have to settle on a 7.5, and I hope Jason keeps at it. I pray that he does, and hopefully there's a lot more Starflyer in the years to come. And I think that concludes our review of In Search of Vanity/Vanity, and I guess that's about it. So we'll see you next time here on the Vinyl Brotherhood.